Elena Maxwell, Director of Progressive Media for the Clinton campaign, joins me, as does Matt Schlapp, Trump surrogate and the former political director for George W. Bush. Nice to have both of you on. Happy election eve. Zerlina, let me just begin with you because we know that the Clinton plane is en route to Michigan. President will be speaking in Ann Arbor. Why this 11th hour stop in Michigan? Is it nerves for the Democrats?
No, it's not nerves. I think that what we're talking about in these last 48 hours before the election are states that vote on Election Day. You saw Hillary Clinton and her powerful surrogates, even Beyonce in Ohio the other night. I still can't get over that. But you saw surrogates go to states that had early voting. And so now in these last few days here, you see her going to Pennsylvania, Michigan, New Hampshire, states that vote actually on Election Day to ensure that our ground game, our field operation, has all of the volunteers and enthusiasm and organization to get out the vote tomorrow.
All right, and to Matt Schlapp on the Trump campaign, 5 states. I mean, it's incredible, I think, how they've all managed to zigzag up until the last moment, including even potential stops tomorrow. We know they're voting in New York. Is there anywhere you wish you'd seen more of Mr. Trump, anything he should be saying message-wise the last 24 hours?
You know what? He has been so on message. I think that's been the most shocking thing is that he has been scripted.
Stay on point, Donald.
He's
Stay on
been
point.
on point. He's even channeled out loud that that's what he wants to do. I think that has been one of the reasons why his poll numbers have been so healthy. And I love the fact that we're playing in these states that 6 months ago Democrats would have said they had in the bag. I love the fact that he's in Michigan, talking about Wisconsin, spending so much time in Pennsylvania. I think he's actually going to win.
New Hampshire.
I think he's actually going to win New Hampshire. And then we have these close states like Florida and North Carolina. I love the fact that we're playing on their turf. And I love the fact that they're also playing on their turf. What's strange is that you don't see her going to Arizona. They even got a little cocky and talked about Texas. That's really not where this race is. This race is in these blue to purple states. And if Donald Trump picks off one, just one, that's outside the states we normally get, he could win.
What could hurt him, though, is the Hispanic turnout. I mean, that's sort of like the final, Zerlina. That has been the surprise, I think, for a lot of folks. Even looking just the state of Florida, for example, Hispanic turnout is up 103% this year over, say, 2008. That said, what hasn't been as high has been the African-American vote. We know the president, we know the first lady will be out tonight stumping in Philadelphia, certainly reaching out to black voters. Why do you think that those numbers are down?
Look, I think that when you're comparing yourself to the first black president, I think that's an uphill battle for anyone, any candidate. And I think that when you look at North Carolina, the last day of early voting in North Carolina, African-American turnout actually exceeded 2012 levels. And so what we're seeing now is African-Americans getting mobilized, getting organized in order to go to the polls tomorrow. And I think that things are looking good. I was just in Philadelphia this weekend. The line for volunteers was out of the door and around the block. I think when you're talking about enthusiasm, certainly with early voting, folks are coming around, making sure they have all their documentation, they know where their polling location is. They're being directly contacted by our 1 million strong army of volunteers all around the country to ensure that folks are showing up tomorrow on Election Day. And so hopefully we'll be successful. But I think that when you're comparing yourself to the first black president, I think that's going to be a little bit tough for anybody involved. Maybe not Beyonce, but anybody else, it's going to be a little hard.
All right. I feel the Beyonce love from you today, Zerlina. I feel it. Yes. I feel it. But there is also the Dow. Listen, I know. She's awesome, but she may not translate to as many votes as you all are hoping for. We're gonna find that out tomorrow night. But when you look at the Dow, I mean, it's just gangbusters today. Look at all the green on the screen. And Matt, final question to you. You know, we were talking last week how Citigroup came out and said if Donald Trump wins the presidency, they think that stocks will go down. Yes. Then you have the Dow up so incredibly, perhaps because of Comey's announcement yesterday clearing Hillary Clinton. What say you?
This town behind me, Washington D.C. and Manhattan wants Hillary Clinton to be president. There's no question about it, that Donald Trump is taking on both those cities. And it doesn't surprise me that all those folks, all those institutional investors on Wall Street are feeling confident that they see some polls and they feel confident and the stock market goes up. That should be a message to voters. If you actually want to change the way New York City does business and the way Wall Street does business, and if you want to change the way Washington does business, there's only one way to do that. and that's to vote for Donald Trump. And that's why these undecided voters in these polls, even the CNN poll, there's still a few percentage of voters who have not made up their mind. I think they tend to break towards Donald Trump for that very reason. They want to change things. They don't like the direction the country's in.
You hope he's out and about campaigning tomorrow. Zerlina, let me ask you, do you know what Hillary Clinton's plans are for tomorrow, for Election Day?
I don't know exactly what her plans are for Election Day. I do know that we're going to be making sure that we're making as many direct voter contacts as possible. And so it's not necessarily about what Hillary Clinton is doing, but it's about what our million-strong army of volunteers are doing to ensure that we're making sure everybody's getting to the polls. That's where our focus is. So anything you hear Hillary Clinton say from now until tomorrow night is all going to be about making sure that we're getting people to the polls, because that is what this is about.
All right, Zerlina and Matt.